Hey everyone, welcome to the One Team We Agree On. I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we have a very special guest today. First time on the show, we want to welcome the host of Growing Up Union and the curator of the Philadelphia Union Archives and a fellow member of Section 136, Mr. Billy Myers. Billy, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, guys. How are you today?
Great, thanks.
Good. So, what are you wearing there? We always ask our guests, what are you wearing today?
So this is the 2010 membership kit Sons of Ben jersey. First membership item other than we had a scarf back in the day that you got if you like donated money. But that was like the first thing. But this is the first since the team was announced 2010. There was actually two runs of these shirts. This is the first run. You can see it's kind of made like in that jersey material with the like it breathes. Second run is made more like a Nike athletic type shirt.
Okay. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing that because I've never seen that. That's like the first time. I think maybe I saw like somebody had a picture once or something, but never like seen it.
Now that you've seen this one, I'm sure you're gonna notice them pop up in the crowd. I see people wearing them from time to time at games.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome. Well, again, thanks for sharing. And Jim, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing, let's see, Live Let, dupe of the old onion bag, which Kyle got me for Christmas.
Yeah. Now that was we got that on the Sons of Ben store. That was like a long sleeve women's cut they were doing. That was back from Tommy Stevens, wasn't it? Like
Tommy Smith, yeah.
Tommy Smith, yeah.
Yeah, that was his catchphrase.
Yep. And then I am wearing Jillian's gift, the Mikel Ua jersey that we got on Fanatics. So all right, we'll go ahead and get started. So Billy, tell everybody, you and I've had lots of conversations, but I know you were involved in the Sons of Ben early on. So how'd you get involved? And early on, what were some of your favorite moments when the club was forming?
So it was about 2007. I was 16 or 17. I was actually sitting at a Phillies game with the girl that I was dating at the time. And on one of my social medias, maybe it was Facebook, it was an ad for the Red Bulls game, David Beckham's first game. And I was like, oh, he's playing against Red Bulls. That's a cool name for a team. I hadn't really followed MLS because, Philadelphia never had a team. And so I did a quick Google search. I was like, maybe we got a team in recent years and I didn't notice. And that Google search led me to Big Soccer. A lot of people probably cringing right now because Big Soccer was a terrible, awful place. But I found a community of when I joined. See, I think my membership number is 192, so we were less than 200. It was about 80 or so like super active guys that would show up to most events, and it was just there was no plan. There was no. There was a rumor when they started about the Wizards coming to Philadelphia, but that kind of was squashed right away. So we were really just living on hopes and dreams at that point, and we were just having a good time. We weren't sure if anything was ever really going to happen. We knew that it should. Philadelphia is one of the top media markets in the country, and the only one in the top that didn't have a team yet. So we knew that it needed to happen, and we were hoping that it was going to happen, but we had no insight or anything on it. But those early years, they were the most fun because there was no like pressure. We didn't really have a team. We didn't really have quote unquote structure. We didn't have like stuff to do. We just hung out. We did a lot of charity, but it was just fun. There was no politics. There was no gossip. It was, the people that were there wanted to be there. Everybody was doing their part. And we were all just friends. Like, it was really just friends, like a bunch of guys that really looked out for each other back then.
Yeah, that's the one thing, like just hearing some of the OGs like yourself, just talking about the original formation. Just the one thing was it was no politics. It was just people getting together for a common cause. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. And that's just awesome just to see you guys. And like you went to, did you go to RFK for that trip when you guys like were still forming? Didn't you guys go down for the MLS Cup?
2007 MLS Cup. Yeah, it was about 100 of us. We were wearing a similar color to this, actually a little bit lighter. I have that shirt upstairs still. And they put us right in the middle of the Revolution section. And that was their fourth MLS Cup loss. I think second back to back. And we gave them hell and they did not like it.
And so like, from your perspective now, just seeing where it came from in 2010 to where it is now, the club, like, what perspective does that give you as a supporter, as being there from day one?
It's kind of crazy because, like I said, when I joined, the Wizards rumor had already kind of fell apart. So we were really just a bunch of guys that wished we had a team and hoped we had a team. There was no real plan or goal. We never really thought that we could push the league into actually giving us a team. So now to see us 15 years in from the formation of the group and 12 years in from the formation of the team, it's pretty crazy actually. But around like 2008, 2009, when the team was announced, I had a little bit of a feeling like maybe we could be really good, but the first 10 years kind of squashed that. But
right,
you know, now we are good. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, like we could never win another major trophy, but as long as the team continues to be built and operate the way that it is, you know, representative of the city, I think I'll always be proud.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the one thing we were talking about when we were out in LA, you know, just the way they performed in a team in the future. Even now, it's just like, this is amazing to see in MLS when you see. And when we talk about like how many teams just dump money, and here you got, and you got the Union from day one. They've always thought like, let's build from the foundation, and then we'll add the people like Uwa, like Gaj Dog, like, you know, we'll bring guys in that fit, but we're not going to go out and spend $14 million for some guy that's kind of on the downturn of his career in a major top 5 league just to bring him in.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody expected us to be at MLS Cup. We weren't supposed to be there, but you know, now the league knows that this is another way you can do it. And there's a lot of teams starting to follow the path.
Right. And now it'll be interesting to see how that changes and develops the league moving forward. I still think you're always going to have those teams that their format, and I don't know how you feel about this, are going to just want to continue to dump money on big name players just because, hey, we can get this guy, and, you know, sell tickets. But I think you're going to start to see more of the trend that the Union are following become the successful model. I don't know how you feel about that.
I guess I'm okay with it because, you know, that's what makes MLS so unique. And I think why we love it so much is because it's not like all of the other leagues. Right. You know, we have a salary cap. We have strict salary rules. We have roster rules. It gives the league this parity where you really believe any given weekend that either team could win. So, you know, sometimes you're going to have those guys that dump all the money and they're going to be the winners. And then sometimes you're going to have teams like us that build from within, you know, with strong values, and we're going to be the winners. And I like that we have different types of mindsets in the league competing, because if everybody was just the same way, it wouldn't be as enjoyable.
Right. No. And that is one of the things. Yeah. Like you see some of these European leagues that, you know, I look at it from a distance, and it's always the same teams. It's always the same teams because they're always spending money. And now you see a little bit more parity in MLS. And I like you said, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
MLS is fun.
This is going to come to a shock of a lot of people, but I don't watch European soccer.
That's not a bad thing. Outside of AC Milan, of AC Milan, I really don't follow. I don't watch the Prem. I mean, I'll watch highlights and just see what.
Like it's on sometimes. Like,
but
I'll put it on. But
if my roommate's watching like Saturday morning, I'll watch because it's soccer.
Right.
But I have no connection. You know, you see people walking around especially people that hate MLS, are like wearing a Chelsea jersey and saying "we," but like you've never been to England.
Exactly.
You're not we. This is
Yeah.
we. We
Yeah.
did this.
Right.
You're
Exactly.
not we. So like I have no interest. It's funny. I have no interest in European soccer, but I watch soccer in India and I watch
Yes.
soccer
Yeah.
in Brazil because I have connections to those teams. People
Right.
that I care about very deeply cared about these teams and I got sucked in that
Right.
way. Or people that I care about are from these places. You've never been to England. You're not we. Chelsea is not you. And then for you to do that and then like not go watch the Union on a Saturday is like real weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think JT said best like during the English premiere thing.
JP?
Jonathan Tannenwald.
Oh,
Where he was interviewing some, I think it was like one of the Rovers, like they were having like some interview on, and I saw on Twitter, and the guy was like, "Will you say to people that live here in Philly that are here at the Premier League event and don't follow the Union?" And he said, "I think his best profound thing is you do realize supporter groups started from hometown people supporting their team. So
yeah,
if you're a Prem League and you're not supporting your hometown MLS team, what are you doing?" And that just was like, that's, like exactly square one. I mean, okay, you can like, maybe you grew up in Philly, you moved to DC. That's a little different story.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, like these people that sit here and go, "Oh, yeah, I live in Philly, but yeah, I don't support the Union." It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, we have like a pretty good following, at least here for, there's some people who like, especially like Christian Pulisic, being from Hershey, which is like right next door to Lancaster pretty much, so we have a lot of people who follow him and how he's doing out there, but like, then not as much of a Union following here, but it's growing.
Yeah, we're starting to see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being a Dolphins fan, right?
It is really much like being a Dolphins fan, especially right now. They are playing like crap, but
and not being from Miami.
Yeah, exactly, and not being from.
We could have a whole podcast
like
on why
being
Kyle is
like being a Flames fan and not even be from Calgary.
I'm simple. I'm just 5 for 5.
Never. In fact, here's an even wilder thing. I've never even been to Calgary, but yeah, I've been a fan of them since I was like 6.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but the Premier thing, like I get that MLS is not the best, it's not the best quality, but if you are such a fan of the sport that you claim to be, why are you not attending every live match that you can?
Right.
It's literally right here for us. I live almost in Center City. It takes me 35 minutes to get to the stadium. There's 35 minutes to go watch soccer every other week live. You're gonna sit on your couch and watch it on TV and think that you're part of something. But we're part of something down there. We're actually there interacting. Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But I hope this year we get to see more interaction, more people coming out and seeing what it's about.
Yeah.
I know on our end we've been trying to talk it up, trying to get some people come out. To the tailgates, to come out to, even just coming out to the games.
Yeah.
I think we want. And I know you're the same way. We want to see this club grow, succeed. We want to see the supporter fan base grow.
Yeah, but naturally, the correct way.
Correct.
I don't want to see the fan base grow because we spent money on somebody's name,
Right.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think the way that we built our team, we're starting to appeal to some of the fans that are fans of like the lower level Premier League teams, the guys that are up, the teams that operate similar to ours, building through their academies and have hardworking players instead of big stars. Like I think those fans are starting to come around to what MLS does, and especially what the Union does.
Yeah. No, I agree. And same with like in Serie A, like there are some clubs and people that are very much are, like, especially like some of those teams that go to Serie B, like you should see some of their facilities. It's the same way. It's just, they have to build through a small academy.
Yep.
And that's the only way they're surviving. So, Jillian, do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. So what did 2022 mean for you, especially, being a longtime fan and, seeing the Union in the Cup and being there at Subaru Park since, we were out at LA. You got to see it though at the Sub. Just what did 2022 mean for you?
It meant everything to me, especially from being at the beginning, not even sure if we were ever going to get a team. than to having a team that really didn't perform well for almost a decade. And then, we really saw a change of tide a few years ago, especially with Ernst coming in, and we knew that it was building to something. We were almost there last year, COVID. But it just meant everything. And it's so Union to not win it, but it's just,
right.
Yeah, it meant everything. And being at Subaru Park with what I want to say was probably like 7,000-8,000 other people.
Awesome.
That was special. I really wanted to be in LA, but if I couldn't be in LA, that's the place that I wanted to be. And I'm really glad that they changed their minds and they let us be there, because the atmosphere was like a game. It was insane.
Yeah.
And we got to sit on the field. We were actually on the field, so it wasn't, normally we're stuck in our seats. You get to hug the person next to you or in front of you. People were running. Like when Jack scored that third goal, people were running around the field. It was insane.
Yeah, like I will tell you this, and I know we were talking with Todd about this, but when Jack scored that goal, I blacked out. Like I remember the ball going. I remember the ball. Yeah, well, I get a little emotional.
He got a little emotional.
I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you saw the video of me where I'm just kind of like going like, I'll send it to you. Like Jillian has a video of me. Like I'm in shock.
I'm just hugging random fans around. We're all just like hugging, and like delirious and getting like choked up. And Kyle was just like,
I was just shocked because I'm just sitting there thinking about like all the discussions we've had privately, just amongst all the supporters about this team. And then just hearing people on MLS and like, casual MLS people just making all these things saying, this really, we were right. We were right, and it wasn't even about being right. It was just like, this is to be expected,
Yeah.
Like
man, I cried. I literally cried. I was holding the baby. I think I jumped on Heather's back.
Yeah.
I cried. I didn't cry when we lost, but I cried when we scored. I'm going to cry right now. I cried when we scored that third goal and I thought we won. I cried.
That was regardless. I mean, when I left, I was like, you feel a little numb inside, but at the same time, I don't know, I felt proud. It was like, man, we went into like, if that game's in Philly, if that game's now, we can play shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm not a big fan of that, but that game's in Philly.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, I have no doubt too. But shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Gazdag wouldn't have slipped on that shit grass and missed that PK if it was in Philly. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure. So you and your family, how has the Union impact you guys? Obviously your son, your wife, how's the Union impacted your life?
It actually goes really deep for me. It started my parents putting me, they didn't know even know what soccer was, but I was a small kid and football was going to hurt me. So they signed me up for soccer when I was like 7, and we all got into it. And when the Union was announced, my dad would watch games with us. And even when I moved out, he would text me, about the games and about the team and stuff. He actually attended our first ever playoff game in my place because I had to work. So, I wish that they were still here to see what happened last season and to see just us making it to the final. I think he would have thought that was really cool. But,
that's awesome.
My wife didn't care about sports whatsoever before we met. And now she's like not almost, but she's into it. She's not as into it as me, but, I'll let her know like when a player leaves or when we sign a player or, what the news is, and she's genuinely interested in it, and she gets as excited at the games now as most people do. And awesome. My son, he's only 2.5, but he's starting to learn some things that are going on. He knows the chants and he knows what to do. He claps his hands along. He was down on the capo stand drumming with them for one of the childhood games. Like it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's like main core within my family.
And that's really just kind of what as supporters you want to see is, especially with your son, just that next generation. That's how you build generations of supporters. That's how you build. Again, I go back to what we were talking about with the Prem fans. Like, I mean, you look at those teams, there's generations of fans. So it's awesome. I mean, we're still a baby in the MLS. What is it now? Like what is it, 2010? So we're 12 seasons going into almost our 13th season now. So yeah, that's so. Do you want to ask? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about favorite road trips. What road trips have you gone on? What's been your favorite of that?
I think I'm obligated to say that Nashville's my favorite because that's when we found out that we were pregnant with our second child.
Oh, awesome.
But
That's
Nashville's also, it was a really cool city. We ate a lot of good food. The stadium was incredible. It was great to be there for the first ever game in that stadium and to not let them escape with a win. So that was a good trip. Charlotte was a nightmare. I'm sure you've heard from our podcast. It was an absolute nightmare.
yeah.
The city was cool, but everything about it was a
that
nightmare.
Game, we kind of want to block that one out, right?
Yeah, the game, my hotel experience, everything. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, your hotel. I was following you on Twitter about that. Like the lights went out.
The whole power went out.
Oh,
no,
really?
no emergency alarm went out. We walked down like 10 flights of stairs in smoke. It was a nightmare. We sat in like a conference room for 4 hours until they told us what was really going on. We didn't have power for like a day and a half. It was nuts. But I mean, we did drive into a storm to stay there, so it was kind of expected.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was a cool trip. We stayed in a shady B&B, or not a B&B, a shady motel. So that was kind of weird. But Cincinnati was cool looking. Skyline Chili is good, despite what people will say.
Yeah.
Their stadium is also really cool. Their supporters culture is cool. That was the first ever away win that I saw, so that was cool. We did the Florida doubleheader in 2021. Orlando is cool. Miami is cool. I wish both of those games would have turned out a lot better, but that trip was fun.
How is Exploria? Because that's the one on my list.
Beautiful. That's
beautiful. The one I want to get to eventually.
It rained like Florida is known to do.
Yeah.
Right.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And I hear after the game, there's like it's like downtown. So, and I've been to downtown Florida. So it's like right there by the basketball arena. So you just walk right
next
down
door, and then you walk across the street from that, and there's like a line of pubs, and then you turn the corner, and it's their like cute little quaint little downtown area. Yeah. Real cool area.
I love that place because my last Florida train trip, I took one of my teams to. Like that night, we went downtown, and it was. I love downtown Orlando.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So, so let's get into the Philadelphia Union Archive that you curate. So, when was it formed? Kind of talk to us a little bit about the idea behind it.
So like I mentioned earlier, I had a bit of a collection early on, like 2010, 2011, that I had to sell off. So I really started like rebuilding my stuff back up in 2020. And that's when I decided, I should just, I know a bunch of other people that have collections for other teams, and they've got like websites and blogs and stuff. So it would be cool to put my stuff up too and like show people what I have and connect with other people. And so I came up with a name back in 2010 when I think before I even got my first shirt. Brazilian player Fred told me he was going to give me his shirt at the end of the season. And from the moment he told me that, I obsessed about like game worn sports memorabilia collecting, like obsessed about it. I read everything that I could about it. And I found this website called MLS Archives. I looked at the site every day. This guy collects game worn jerseys from every team across the leagues dating back to the beginning. I read this site like every day for 4 years. And he stopped posting one day. And just recently, I actually started a Facebook group for MLS game worn memorabilia collectors, and I was able to connect with him and I can now call him my friend. So the name Philadelphia Union Archives is kind of like an homage to his MLS archives.
Nice.
Admittedly, I'm very bad about posting the stuff that I have. It's all been photographed. I just have to edit it and post it, and I'm slacking on that.
So let's talk about your favorite items that you have with
I got a couple things here. This is this is the first shirt. Long sleeve, 2010. It's got the breast cancer patch. It was the final game of the 2010 season. Red Bulls at home. I believe we won 2-1. Fred scored a goal,
Oh,
and he
wow.
also saved the game tying goal off the goal line.
Wow.
So aside from building a friendship with him, this
Mhm.
shirt is actually incredibly special because beating Red Bull is always special.
Right.
At
Definitely.
home, it was like no, it might have been the day before my birthday. Those final season games are always near my birthday.
Mhm.
I have a picture here because I'm a nerd and I like to game photo match my stuff. So
Oh,
this
that's
is
cool.
the
Nice.
celebration he made because his wife was pregnant when he scored the goal.
Oh,
He gave me this MLS's Works armband that he was also wearing. So that's all from the same game. That's, like I said, the first shirt. It kind of set off the whole thing.
mhm.
These are Ray Gaddis game worn boots.
Nice.
Nice.
2011. I had also kind of struck up a friendship with Ray early on.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you've ever seen pictures, but in 2010, I used to have a big blonde mohawk.
I've seen a picture of you on the field kicking a ball or something. Yep.
So on the sides, I would spray paint like designs and stuff. And
Mhm.
sometimes I would do them like player specific. And I did one of a silhouette of Ray running. And
Right.
he gave me these. These were this and the shirt were the two items that I was like, went back when I was selling stuff. I was like, I can't let these go because they mean so much to me. Here I have, this is a scarf, December
Oh, wow.
1st, 2008,
Nice.
when they broke ground for the stadium.
Sweet.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how many of these were made. I know all of the politicians and the MLS guys got them. I don't
Mhm.
know if there was enough made for the fans that were there. Unfortunately, I was not there because I was in class.
Mm.
But I found this. And this one, the last one I'm going to show you is the game worn shirt from the
Open Cup final.
2014 Open Cup final.
Mm.
Shayna Williams.
Yep.
I've also photo matched this shirt. You can see there's a little tear here in the collar.
Mhm.
So each of the players wore two shirts that game because one of them was going to be auctioned off for charity.
Right.
This was supposed to be his personal shirt that he kept, that I came upon in a very funny way that I'll maybe tell you at another time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm curious. So, but yeah, that's still there. That right there. The last shirt you told me, that's the shirt I want to add in my collection. That is
Man,
like,
it's the best. It's probably the best shirt that we've ever had. I know people
it's
want to talk about the lightning bolts, but that black shirt is beautiful.
That's pretty nice.
And it's so hard to get a hold of. When I finally got one,
yeah.
I think I spent what you would spend on like a brand new jersey now.
I
think it
seen
was almost $200.
who is it? I saw two on eBay and they
Yeah.
both went 300 for like 400. I'm like, nah. Nah. So is there any items you were like, man, why did I get that? Like collector items where you're just like, why did I get this? What is
I have
this?
a couple, yeah. So I have another one of those shirts.
Mhm.
It is, who is it? Let me check.
All right.
Oh, I don't have it down here. I don't have it down here. I think it's upstairs, but it's one of those shirts. The guy told me that it was game worn, that it was authentic.
Mhm.
I noticed there was like a discrepancy with one of the patches, the American flag patch, and I thought, all right, maybe that was just like a weird run. Sometimes that happens, errors, whatever. So I bought it. When I finally got it, I realized that the guy just sewed on a fake American flag patch onto a replica jersey. It's not a game worn. It's not an authentic. I should have trusted my gut in the first place, knowing that it wasn't real and not got it.
Yeah.
So I think that's my like number one. Like, why did I get this? I also have a couple of like USL shirts. I think I have a Bethlehem Steel jersey, some warm-ups. I've got some like U2 training gear and stuff like that. Not really big into collecting the second team, so that stuff kind of like I don't know why I got it.
Now, are there any items you almost got and wish you did?
Yeah, I was actually telling Kyle about this the other day when we were at the locker room sale.
Yeah.
There was that gray and teal keeper jersey that they
Yeah.
wore. I think it's 2021. At the end of each season, sometimes Fanatics will list like game worn jerseys on their websites. And there was one Blake jersey in that colorway. They had it listed for like $400. I was like, that's too much. I can't do that. I watched it for weeks. And the day I was like, I should just get it. I've got the money. I'm just going to splurge. I won't get anything else for a while. And when I logged onto the site, it wasn't there anymore.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of like how, well, I wasn't at the sale. Obviously, Kyle was.
Yeah.
Kyle spotted the Stuart Finley.
Well,
I
actually,
didn't spot those. I spotted.
Oh,
those.
you
he did.
spotted
He
them.
did. He go. I'm
Alright,
like
so-
looking at the shorts and like all that. And you're like, you turn around and you're like, Kyle, look at this. I'm like, oh, and then we're like trying to get you on the
Yeah,
whole.
it was
He
Coach,
was
I didn't
like-
have my phone on me, so
He said
Yeah.
no at first, and I was like, "You better double check." And he's like, "Oh, let me try to call her."
yeah. Honestly, though, I told him, I would have said, as much as I'd like them, I do have at least a signed game worn jersey by him, and
Okay, yeah,
so like I'm okay with not spending that on,
yeah,
getting the cleats,
they're a
but
little pricey.
yeah, as much as that would be cool, but
It would be. It would
But
be.
yeah.
Even like, and Bill, here's the best part. It's like I left him like driving home. Like in my gut, I'm feeling bad because I know how much you would appreciate it. But then at the same time,
Yeah,
like it's like you have the angel on the one shoulder, the angel
I
on the
know.
other shoulder. It's like,
like I would have loved him for it if he got him, but I'm not mad that he didn't, because
yeah.
I would have said, that's a little expensive. I mean, he did
Right.
get some number 4 shorts though. So
Yes, he
we got
did.
the shorts. So I'm cool with that. And I've got the same shirt he has on now, but with Stu on the back. So so I'm happy with that. Yeah, I got the Juneteenth jersey that was auctioned
cool.
off. So
I got Santos.
nice.
nice. So we got some scarves and jerseys and stuff, and some of this stuff I've done some research on, but a lot of it I get conflicting reports. So I'm gonna, if you could just help us identify some of
Yep.
this, that'd be great. Jillian, you want to help here?
Okay.
So I got this from Ricky, and it's the Union Fearless 43. Which year was this? Do you remember?
I want to say that's 2021 when we came back, back in the stadium.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. That
There's
was
cats on that. That's cool.
yeah, that's,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Cat-
cool.
Cat lady here. Oh, we like that one.
This is one of our
I wore that
favorites.
one a lot in the 2021 season, actually.
Yeah. So which year was this? This is like the warm up for the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's so it's 2019. They
Okay.
did a like what do you call it, like a pep rally at Xfinity,
Okay.
and that was the warm up top to prepare for the playoffs. It
Mhm.
actually was released with these sneakers too.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. I've seen those around.
Yeah, I try not to wear them too much because they're also very difficult to find now.
Now this one, is this a 2010 or 2011?
That's 2010. 2011,
Okay.
we actually started Beambo. That's a 2010 replica shirt.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that. And then this is one of the, which year was this?
I believe that is 2021 also, because we had that weird like pink color last year.
Yeah.
So the
Mhm.
season before we had that. I mean, it looks like water, like
Yeah.
waves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got that one on eBay, like really cheap too. It was like
Yeah.
$20. It was like, I was like, what? Okay.
Cool. The cool thing with those is because they're the prime blue jerseys. They're made from plastic that they dig out of the ocean. That's I believe the third iteration of the league wide jerseys, and the first two they did are actually made with a lot more plastic, where if you put them in the dryer, you try to iron them, they actually melt. So these ones are a bit more of a blend with actual fabric, so they don't melt like the first ones. The first ones are like actual plastic.
And then I didn't bring it down, but that one I showed you, the white one, that the
Yeah.
really tight, like you put it on, like I have like an XL and it fits like a medium. Like
Yeah,
on
some of
me.
those early shirts are really athletic fit, they like to call it. The Bethlehem Steel is one of them too, because
Really?
I wear all my shirts in a small, and that Bethlehem Steel small makes me look like a fucking sausage. But that white shirt you have, it's got a center stripe, and it's got like star design in it.
Yeah.
And it's the 2015, we wore it 2015 and 2016 away shirt.
Okay.
And it was paired with a 2016, 2017 home shirt in a similar design with a gold snakeskin type stripe in the middle. But the design of that shirt, they actually repurposed in my favorite ever limited warm-up top for 4th of July in this red, white, and blue.
That is nice.
Nice.
Yeah. This is my favorite shirt of all time. This was my biggest like white whale and jersey collecting. And
nice.
I saw it pop up on eBay one day in my size. And actually, this is a medium, so it's a little bit bigger than my size, but I think it fits okay. So I think I might have spent $200 on this because it was like I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have a couple scarves. So we got, you know how like the Sons of Ben, sometimes have extra scarves laying around.
Yeah.
So we picked up this scarf. Do you know which year this one was?
I'm completely useless at identifying scarves because I stopped collecting them a long time ago.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd have like
so
500 scarves.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that one's fairly recent.
Yeah. Do you know if any of these original or the originals? Because I got these on eBay.
No, I don't think they are.
Okay. Like original 2010s. Yeah, I'm trying to I'm trying to identify those.
I have here. Let me show you this one.
All right.
This is 2010 season ticket member package scarf.
Yeah.
She has a snake.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a nice one.
To the end.
Oh,
this
that's
wow.
2010 founding member.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is really sweet. I like that.
We got this one again on eBay, but I like this one. It's like it just has dupe on the front, and it has like old school. Like this has to be early because it has like the copper.
Yeah, that looks pretty early. That that specific design too.
It's the one with like the fangs.
Don't have it, but normally in jerseys, if you're looking to like identify the year, most Adidas shirts will have this little tag right here inside the collar.
Yeah,
they'll give you production. So this is 9/13. This shirt was produced September of 2013. That's the year that they actually wore these shirts. So when you're trying to figure out, at least for jerseys, I wish scarves had production years on their tags too, but all Adidas jerseys will always have that little tag there. And if it doesn't, don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that bit of advice. Yeah, that's really good to know. So you have the archives. Let's talk about your podcast, the Growing Up Union podcast.
So Todd's a really good friend of mine. I know the Doobie Brothers. I know Kevin Kincaid. I know a lot of the other Union podcast people, and I have ADHD, which means I pick up a hobby and I hyper focus on it for 6 months to a year, and then I forget about it. So I was like, man, podcasting is cool, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to have a podcast. And then my wife was like, it would be really cool if you could get some of the players to read books to Anjem because he loves reading so much. And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. Maybe I could do that. That's not a podcast. I could get the guys to record a couple of videos. Right. And I was like, that just seemed like the only people that would want to listen to that is children. How do I reach more people? So, okay, well, maybe I could ask them a couple questions, and then it became a podcast. But I'm proud of the fact that we're not like most other podcasts. We don't talk. I mean, we don't talk to the players or the people that we interview about tactics and games and stuff. We actually talk about growing up and what their childhood was like and their hobbies and how they got into the sport. And then, how that transitioned into adulthood and stuff like that. So it's actually been a lot of fun.
No, somebody like who have you been your favorite, like top 3 guests?
I talked to JP Delacamera.
Yeah,
that's pretty
That is true.
I talked to JP Delacamera. Other people are like, they're excited they got Danny Higginbotham, but I talked to JP Delacamera, and he's actually the biggest contributor to our fund, which is something that I forgot to mention. I didn't want to be just a podcast, so we have a fund where we're trying to raise money to help donate to a charity that we found that we think is pretty cool called Reach Out and Read. They have a Philadelphia chapter, and what they do is they provide books to pediatricians' office So every time you leave an appointment, you have a new book that's based on the point in development that they should be at to help them, focus on learning how to read and stuff like that. And they also help teach parents how important reading is too. So we ask all of our guests and our listeners at the end of each episode to donate and trying to do some good while having some fun.
I love that. I mean, I'm a teacher, I've been an elementary teacher and everything, and big proponent of reading. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah.
No, it is. Cause like, even like I was telling my dad about, cause both my parents were educators growing up in my family. I mean, education was number one. So, and like you said, I have ADHD. So like back in the 80s, like you were just a crazy kid. And like, I remember going to like, just like learning about myself. Like that was like the first time you really learned about yourself. Like it was really kind of becoming discovered. So my family always was into reading. Like
same.
I had to read. Like, yeah, I had Nintendo. Yeah, I'd go outside and run around the farm. Yeah, I'd watch some TV, but like I couldn't do any of that unless I was reading, too.
Yeah, so. I failed a math class one day, 1 year. My mom made me do a book report over the summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what are your plans for the, just what you can share? What are your plans for that?
So we still have to record the final episode of the first season. The guests that we had lined up had some life events happen that prevented them from recording with us. So pretty set on them being the final episode of the first season. So I'm still just waiting on that to happen, and then we'll get started on season 2, but just going to keep reaching out and trying to expand across the league. We don't talk to just Union. We talk to, we want to talk to everybody involved with MLS at all levels, players, coaches, training staff, executives, reporters, anybody that we can. Got a couple of other big guests lined up, and then we're gonna branch just a little bit more into game to game stuff. I think we're gonna keep doing the travel vlog that we did last time. We actually recorded that in the car on the drive home to try to kill some of the time. So I think we're planning to go to Toronto this year. So we'll do another one of those to talk about the food that we ate and the things that we saw. And as my son gets older and learns how to talk more, I'm going to start asking him his opinion on stuff. So you're going to find out what like a 3 or 4 year old thinks about soccer.
And that'll be a lot of fun, actually, just to see he'll be like, you start when he's like 3, 4, and then like 10 years old, you can go back to like when he was 3, be like, well, when you were 4, you said this. So how's your opinion?
Kids don't lie, man.
Yeah.
Kids don't lie.
Yeah.
They are brutally honest.
Oh, they are. So what's do you want to ask Yeah.
So what makes the Philadelphia Union the best team in the MLS, in your opinion?
Kyle won't understand this, but I know that you will. It's just that Philadelphia is the smartest and most passionate sports city in the country and possibly the world,
Yes.
Our fans, they know the sports that they're fans of inside and out. I mean, you can ask 10-year-olds batting averages and pitching counts and shit, and they know these better than their multiplication tables. That's just what Philadelphia does. And the other thing is that we don't quit on our teams.
Right.
We can boo them and cheer them in the same game, sometimes in the same inning, in the same period, in the same half. We don't give up. Just because we're booing you doesn't mean that we don't love you. It's because we expect more than you, and we know you can do more, and we just never quit.
Exactly. And that's why you see some, players, they're like, they don't mind the booze. It's like, well, I sucked, so I deserve the booze.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them can't hack it, but the ones that understand.
The ones that understand, like Philly loves them, and they get the respect. We saw like Alec Boehm, even, that whole thing with him, he was applauded because, he handled that right when he understood,
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I agree with you totally. It's Philly fans, you don't have you don't get all the bandwagon fans that you see in some of the other teams, and we're passionate about it, and fans are very knowledgeable about it, and they'll boo you when you suck, and they'll cheer you when you're doing great. And
I mean, you don't even have to be the best player. You just have to do your best.
Exactly.
If you give everything that you have all of the time, then the fans are going to be behind you 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's I think just even with just a union, like when we chant, hey Union, wake the what up, and then like Red Bulls 2019 when we were all chanting
Yeah.
at the end of her,
Yeah.
which was deserving. Even Jim's like, yeah, that really got us going. Like just and then having gone to school in Philly and spent a lot of time at the Phillies, and just walking around there and just knowing a lot of people from, you're right. I think the thing that makes Philly special is you don't have to be, but if you work hard and you do, what's expected and you just give it your all. I've always respected that about Philly fans and Philly teams. And that's why I'm glad we're so passionate about the Union, just one team we agree on.
I know. I've tried to get him at least like the Eagles. I mean, truth. I've got we've got the Eagles on. At the same time, watching it's like he knows a happy wife is a happy life. So if it's not conflicting with like the Dolphins, he'll like cheer for him, right? But I'm like, hey, the stuff you love about our Union fandom, you could have that with the Eagles.
Everywhere. Yeah. The other thing I'll say is people will always talk about like in England, their team dictates their mood. If your team loses, you have a bad week. I say that's the same in Philly, man. If the Eagles lose, it's not a good Monday.
Nope. No, just ask him what kind of mood I was in on Christmas Eve. Oh my, like when the Eagles lost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you can't be too upset about that because backup quarterback, first time playing, he did his best. He could have had some help. We barely lost that game. It was
the one against the
It
Saints,
wasn't a bad showing.
hand.
We could have got blown out.
Right. Yep.
No, yeah. And then just to see what the Dolphins did the next day on Christmas, it was like, well, yeah.
Yep.
But so do you have anything else?
Yep.
Well, so Billy, before we wrap up here, where can people find you? Your socials, your podcast, all that
They
stuff.
probably don't want to find me.
Oh, come on. You're great. You're a great follow on Twitter.
I'm an acquired taste.
That's
my Twitter is Sanjaya SOB. That's actually a nickname that I was given in 2007. I had long curly hair, and with my slightly brown skin, I actually look like American Idol contestant Sanjaya.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And I worked at Sears at the time in Ben Salem. So all of the Indian aunties would come in and tell me that I look just like him. And it's kind of a nickname that stuck early on. Nobody really calls me that anymore, but it's been the Twitter handle for 13 years. So nice. Sanjaya SOB. Podcast has a Twitter that I don't use all that much, except when I'm promoting episodes. I think it's Growing Up Union. Instagram, there's Philadelphia Union Archives Instagram. And like I said, I have a Facebook group also for MLS Game Worn collectors. I believe it's called actually MLS Game Worn Memorabilia Collectors. It's a long name, but if you type in MLS and Game Worn, it should pop up.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, and you can find us on Twitter at TOTWAG. That's the one team we agree on. And then you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, which I got to kind of get the Instagram going. I have done nothing with Instagram. But you can find us on those two podcasting platform, two social media platforms. And again, Billy, thank you so much for coming out today. It's been a great
thank you so much.
Conversation. So
thanks for having me, guys.
Until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you on an all new episode next week of The One Team We Agree On.